The Lib Dem conference has been beset with rows over Brexit, with the leader tying himself up in knots over whether the party stands for rejoining the EU. Now fringe Remain groups are going at each other's throats. The Lib Dem conference is once again a hotbed of Brexit rows, despite leader Sir Ed Davey saying rejoining the EU is now off the table. Ahead of the party's first in-person conference since 2019, Sir Ed said the public simply aren't talking about Brexit anymore, marking a significant change in policy for the pro-EU party. His calls to stop banging on about Europe were then ignored by some heavy hitters, with foreign spokeswoman Layla Moran calling on Britain to rejoin the bloc, and former leader Sir Vince Cable saying the party should be talking about Brexit. Now the feud is even dividing Remain activists in Bournemouth, with a pro-EU campaign group telling the Express they condemn fellow activists boasting, "I told you so." The stickers also featured at the anti-Brexit march in central London over the weekend, in which beret-wearing activists delivered interpretive dance performances outside Parliament. Pablo Ohana, a former Lib Dem official who now represents the European Movement UK campaign, told the Express that those handing out the stickers at the conference are actively hurting the pro-European movement. He added, "We will not build a census and win people over to our cause by saying, 'I told you so.'" In fact, the central message and theme of the last campaign ad my agency produced for the European movement sought to do exactly the opposite. It intentionally moved blame and any hint of guilt away from voters and onto the politicians who led us here. I say this as someone who has worked on every pro-European campaign since 2015 and who is still working to get closer to Europe. This type of campaigning is simply nonsense. Party leader Sir Ed Davey floundered on Sunday morning when questioned over whether the Lib Dems would reverse Brexit. Sir Ed refused 7 times to answer the simple question, being confronted with Layla Moran's words to activists that, "We want to rejoin." He said that while the Lib Dems want Britain to be at the heart of Europe, the party is deeply realistic about what's going to have to be done to enable us to improve our relations with Europe. European politicians don't trust Britain anymore. He told Good Morning Britain that Layla Moran's comments have not been quoted in their entirety and that his foreign affairs spokesman has been the architect of building this patient, gradual process which we think is in our national interest.